जानकी जीवन राह,
हे जानकी जीवन राह,
हे जानकी जीवन राह,
हे जानकी जीवन राह,
हे पतिपुरीश्वर राह, हे पतिपुरीश्वर राह,
हे पतिपुरीश्वर राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे राम भगवान,
हे राम भगवान,
हे करुणा सिंधु राह,
हे करुणा सिंधु राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
भक्त प्रेमी को करुणा करो,
भक्त प्रेमी को करुणा करो,
दया करो भगवान,
दया करो भगवान,
हे जानकी जीवन राह,
हे जानकी जीवन राह,
हे पतिपुरीश्वर राह,
हे पतिपुरीश्वर राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे दीनबंधु साई राह,
दीनबंधु साई राह,
हे राम भगवान।
देवी भवानी जगत जननी, देवी भवानी जगत जननी, मंदहासिनी आनंददायिनी, मंदहासिनी देवी भवानी जगत जननी, मंगलकारिणी कारुण्य रूपिणी,
कारुण्य रूपिणी,
मंगलकारिणी कारुण्य रूपिणी,
कारुण्य रूपिणी,
नारायणी देवी नारायणी,
नारायणी देवी नारायणी,
नारायणी देवी नारायणी,
नारायणी देवी नारायणी, जगत जननी
मंदहासिनी आनंददायिनी
मंदहासिनी आनंददायिनी
देवी भवानी जगत जननी
देवी भवानी जगत जननी
मंगलकारिणी कारुण्य रूपिणी
मंगलकारिणी कारुण्य रूपिणी
नारायणी देवी नारायणी
नारायणी देवी नारायणी
महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी
महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी
महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी
महिषासुरमर्दिनी अम्बे भवानी
देवी भवानी जगत जननी
साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शंकरा अभयंकरा भवभयहारी शंकरा शंकरा अभयंकरा भवभयहारी शंकरा शंकरा अभयंकरा भवभयहारी शंकरा शंकरा अभयंकरा भवभयहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा परमात्मा शिव शंकरा पावन पुरुषा 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 शंकरा सत्य स्वरूपा शंकरा सत्य साई शंकरा सत्य स्वरूपा शंकरा सत्य साई शंकरा सत्य स्वरूपा शंकरा सत्य साई शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति साई शंकरा शंकरा भयंकरा भवभयहारी शंकरा शंकरा भयंकरा भवभयहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा शिरडी साई शंकरा पति विहारी शंकरा परमात्मा शिव शंकरा
कल्याण कृष्ण कमनीय कृष्ण कल्याण कृष्ण कमनीय कृष्ण कल्याण कृष्ण कमनीय कृष्ण कालीय मर्दन श्री कृष्ण हे कालीय मर्दन श्री कृष्ण कालीय मर्दन श्री कृष्ण हे कालीय मर्दन श्री कृष्ण गोवर्धन गिरिधारी मुरारी गोपी मन संचारी 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 वृंदावन के तुलसी माला वृंदावन के तुलसी माला वृंदावन के तुलसी माला वृंदावन के तुलसी माला पीतांबर धारी मुरारी पीतांबर धारी मुरारी पीतांबर धारी मुरारी पीतांबर धारी मुरारी कल्याण कृष्ण कमनीय कृष्ण कल्याण कृष्ण कमनीय कृष्ण कालीय मर्दन श्री कृष्ण कालीय मर्दन श्री कृष्ण गोवर्धन गिरिधारी मुरारी गोपी मन संचारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी मुरारी गोपी मन संचारी 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 वृंदावन के तुलसी माला वृंदावन के तुलसी माला पीतांबर धारी मुरारी पीतांबर धारी मुरारी पीतांबर धारी मुरारी पीतांबर धारी मुरारी कल्याण कृष्ण कमनीय कृष्ण सरम
Om Shri Sai Ram. offering our loving pranams at the lotus feet of our most beloved Lord. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, and students. The last couple of weeks or more have been a whirlwind of a tour to the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And by the Lord's command, we will now have a short recap of the tour. We started from Bangalore and reached Ottawa on the 9th of June. Ottawa is in Canada, and we reached the residence of a very, very ardent devotee of Bhagwan, Shri Krishan Singhal, and his devout wife, Srimati Manju Singhal. And we reached pretty late in the evening, so it was a day of rest. The next morning, which was day 1, the 10th of June, the Lord called all of us and sent us to go around town, and in his words, he said, go shopping. He said, go marketing, like he always does in Kodaikanal. And we all went a short round, and then we went to the Gatineau Golf and Country Club, which is on the other side of Quebec, of Canada, and we had to actually go across a bridge. And this actually belonged to Krishan Singhal ji, and the Lord manifested there for lunch, and he had lunch with the entourage and a few invited guests. After which we proceeded to the office of Shri Krishan Singhal ji that afternoon. It was very overwhelming, and all the senior executives at Richcraft Limited, which is the leading property developers in Canada, and these senior executives have been with Singhal ji for the last 20 to 25 years. And Swami blessed all of them, and he told them something very, very profound. He said, don't think you're just doing another ordinary job. He said, at the end of the day, this is helping the lives of many, many children in India. He said, work with that attitude. It was indeed a very beautiful moment to see the Lord interacting with all of them at the office. And from there we proceeded to the residence of Shri Pavan and Srimati Sudha Gupta, and we had tea and a small satsang there that evening, after which we returned to the Singhal residence, and that was the end of day 1. It was 10th of June. The next morning, June 11th, we went to the houses of both the daughters of Mr. and Mrs. Singhal, Miss Monica and Miss Angela. And we had a small satsang at the house of Mrs. Monica and her husband Jeff. And Mr. and Mrs. Singhal's 6 grandchildren were present there as well. You know, it is always said, Swami is a man amongst men, a woman amongst women, and a child amongst children. And amongst these 6 grandchildren of Mr. and Mrs. Singhal, Swami was a child. It was so beautiful, where he actually explained the concept of love so beautifully, which we all try and grapple with at the end of the day. So Swami asked a very beautiful question to these little children. I mean, the entire satsang was only for these kids. And Swami asked these children, he said, how did God create the universe, and when did God create universe? And there was this little tiny girl who got up and said, Swami, God created the world in 7 days. And Swami turned around and said, oh, they taught you this in school. And Swami went on to explain so beautifully. He said, yes, God created this world in 7 days, and if God did create this world in 7 days, everything that you see around belongs to God. And what is it? It is love. So all that you see around you is love and is a manifestation of love. So indeed it was a very beautiful morning, and it was very awe-inspiring for all of us who were present over there, and indeed it was very emotional as well. And after that, we returned to the Singhal residence in the afternoon, and evening there was a satsang at the residence, and we had all our distinguished speakers Shri Isaac Tigrit, Mr. C. Srinivas, and Mr. B. N. Narsimurthy address the gathering. The next morning, which was the 12th of June, we proceeded from Ottawa to Boston. Now, from Canada, we went to the United States of America in the East Coast. And we landed at the residence of Shri Bharat Patel. Boston, brothers and sisters, as we all know, is very, very famous and well known for its institutes, its universities, like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the Harvard University, the Sloan School of Business, and many, many more such institutions. And of course, Boston also reminds us in our history lessons where we've all studied the Boston Tea Party. And yes, we were there with the Lord of the Universe at the residence of Shri Bharat Patel. And we reached in the evening and we had a short satsang and thereafter retired for the evening. The next morning, day 4, 13th of June, Swami spoke to the family, and after which we proceeded on a short tour of the Harvard University and the entire campus of the Harvard Square. Post that, these are just some glimpses of the university that we saw. Can we have the next slide, please? This is the campus of the Harvard University. And evening satsang, we had all the distinguished speakers, including the one that you see in the picture, is Mr. Michael Hollander, the very, very famous football player of America, and he came and offered his obeisance, and it was indeed a very tearful moment for him to offer his gratitude and his love at the lotus feet of our beloved Divine Mother Sai. The next day, June 14th, we went right across from the East Coast to the West Coast. From Boston, we took a flight, a 6.5-hour long flight, and reached San Francisco on the West Coast. And we arrived from the San Francisco airport, an hour and a half's drive, we reached San Jose to the residence of Shri Divyogi Patel and his family. Shri Divyogi Patel and his family have been ardent devotees of Bhagwan for many, many decades, and they welcomed the Lord and his entourage with much love. And as Swami was welcomed with Ganesh Atharvasirsham, Swami sat down on his throne, and the first question he asked was, how was Ganesha created? And the answer was given. And Swami very beautifully explained thereafter. He said, yes, Lord Ganesha was created with a sandalwood paste. Do you think that science can do this, or science can explain the logic of creating a being or taking the head off and putting an elephant head? Can science explain this? He said, no, science cannot explain this. And that is where spirituality comes in, he said. He said, science is just half the circle, spirituality is the other half of the circle which completes it. It was indeed a very beautiful moment, and after that we all had dinner since it was very late in the evening, and everyone retired for the day. Day 6 was a visit to the much-awaited Stanford University, where the conference Science for Society was held. Stanford University is in the suburbs of Palo Alto, which is the Silicon Valley, the very, very famous Silicon Valley, where all the large corporations and organizations of the world have their headquarters. This is the venue for the conference, which is called Science for Society. We had to click this picture, brothers and sisters and students. We were all given little badges, including Swami. And this conference was for the innovations for the ideal village, and the components of the conference included education, healthcare, energy, water, and waste management. There were over 100 delegates who had participated in this conference, including eminent scientists from America and a lot of people of repute from various organizations, including the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Harvard University, Stanford University, of course, KEF Foundation, Sanmina, and other leading companies from the Silicon Valley. There was also an exhibition which was put up on on the continuing mission of the Lord and the various aspects of the continuing education and the healthcare mission. It was indeed an overwhelming moment when we saw at Stanford University 2 videos being presented about the education and about the healthcare mission. And it was a moment of pride for all of us to see Shri B.N. Narasimhamurthy and Shri C. Srinivas present the continuing mission of the Lord. And in fact, it did leave all of them who had attended with a little bit of surprise, and they were a bit awestruck to see that the most important part of a child's development, both for mental and for the physical well-being, is being offered completely and totally free of charge in the mission of the Lord. And after the morning session got over, we proceeded back to Shri Patel's residence. And while the conference continued for the entire day, Swami was very keen to come back in the evening to listen to the conclusions and what actually came out of this conference. And the outcome of the conference was to implement a pilot based on the recommendations of the experts who had all gathered to give their 2 bits to how we can implement an ideal village. And as a lead up to this, a research innovation cell will be set up right here in Muddenahalli. And also the School of Medicine at Stanford will be collaborating with the Sathya Sai Sanjeevani Hospital, and they will pave way for the upcoming Sri Sathya Sai International Center for Pediatric Cardiac Sciences, which will open in New Delhi in November 2016. And indeed, it was a real moment of awe and pride for all of us. And these are some glimpses of the pictures from the Stanford University. Can we have the next slides, please? The next morning was the youth meet at Sunnyvale, and we all left after breakfast to the venue, and over 150 youth from various parts of America had come to San Jose to bask in Bhagwan's glory and his love. And Swami had his lunch with the youth and also gave his gifts of love to everybody. These are some of the glimpses. He spent a lot of time with the youth, and like he always says, that youth is the most important part because you have the energy to work with. And like we always say, one of the most beautiful moments that we all enjoy are the question and answer sessions in every satsang. And one of the questions which was asked in the youth meet was, Swami, it is always easy to be yourself, is what you say. You are naturally divine, Swami. It is easier for you to be yourself than to become someone else. But why are we all finding it so hard? It was a natural question from one of the youth at the meet. And Swami so beautifully explained, and he said, see, generations after generations, the untruth is being told to us that we are somebody else, and we are somebody else and not who we truly are. And Swami said, we've been told constantly that we are the body and we are not the divine. Therefore, it is easy for me and it is difficult for you. Once you start reminding yourself that you are divine and you contemplate on this every single moment, not every single day, but every single moment that you are divine, indeed it will become easy for you too. In the evening, we proceeded to the house of a devotee, Sri Prashant Mehta. And brothers and sisters, it was an overwhelming moment for everybody. Yet again, day after day, it was just so beautiful sitting with the Lord. And the story here goes that last year, exactly a year ago, when Bhagwan had visited the United States of America, and when Sri Prashant Mehta had taken Swami's blessings, Swami had told him in the interview, see, after a year I will visit your house. And at that time, brothers and sisters, he didn't have a house. So Swami had described the house and said, this will be your house, you will have a pool and you will be able to see the entire city of San Jose, you will be able to see San Francisco. And brothers and sisters, a year later, Sri Prashant Mehta found the house which Bhagwan had described exactly a year ago, right to the T. That is the omniscience, that is our Lord. The next day, day 8, was June 17th. And in the morning, we all proceeded to the house of Shri Bobby Patel, who is the youth leader for America. And after spending some precious moments and having lunch with the family, we all returned to the Patel residence. And in the evening, we had the public Satsang, which was at the Sunnyvale Temple, which was about a 30-minute drive from the house of Shri Divyogi Patel. And all the distinguished speakers yet again inspired everyone gathered. And Mrs. Connie Shaw was one of the speakers, and she said something very beautiful. She described the word aloha. Now, aloha is a Hawaiian word which means both hello and goodbye. And she expanded it to say that many, many decades ago, when she had come to Bhagwan, he had actually given her what aloha stands for. And he said, A is acceptance or surrender, like we call it. L is the love for God and love for all beings. O is obedience, implicit obedience to the word of Sai. H is for humility and A is for accountability. Now, accountability to whom? Accountability to God, because we are right here and we obey what He says, and we are accountable every single moment of our lives. And after the function got over, there was a little exhibition which was staged at the rear end of the venue, post which there was a cultural program of music, dance and drama. And that brought the day to the close of June 17th. The next morning, June 18th, was a day of travel yet again. We went from San Jose to Santa Clara to Santa Maria to Sai Arpanam to visit Mr. and Mrs. Ram Shetty. And it was a small intimate gathering at Sai Arpanam. And the moment the bhajans got over, Swami asked about Sage Durvasa. He said, do you know who Sage Durvasa is? And Srimati Usha Shetty replied who Sage Durvasa was. And then Swami went on to explain that he was known for his anger and he was also known for his love alike. And then Swami went on to explain and said that, see, God is reflection, reaction and resound. What good you do, it amplifies and it comes back to you. And God is just a witness to everything, and He will not change the quality of the offering that you do, because He's only reflection, reaction and resound. And then Swami made a very, very profound statement. He said, how God behaves with you depends on how you behave with God. And that was indeed very powerful and something which all of us need to constantly remind ourselves. And after lunch, we proceeded to the San Luis Obispo airport to fly to Los Angeles. And once we reached Los Angeles, we drove to Newport Beach, Irvine, and where we were going to spend the next couple of days. Can we have the next slide, please? Day 10, the next morning, the Lord commanded that we all go on a little boat ride. And so we all went, and He said, I will see you at the boat. So we all went, and right in the middle of the ocean, brothers and sisters, the Lord manifested. And we had one of the most beautiful satsangs bang on the ocean. In fact, the previous evening, Swami had asked us when we were serving him, he said, this coast of Newport Beach, what are the animals that you will see? So we told him, Swami, great white sharks and whales and, all these. So Swami said, okay, you will all see something. So we all wanted to know what is that something we were all going to see. And there, right in the middle of the ocean, on top of a bobble, we saw a lot of lazy sea lions. And yes, when Swami manifested, he did ask us, so did you see something? We said, yes, Swami, we did see the sea lions. And then he said, oh, the dolphins went home. They had to go back home. So it was a very beautiful satsang right in the middle of the ocean. That is Mr. Bob Bazani and Mr. Bob Baskin. They were one of the earliest devotees of Swami who came in the late 60s and early 70s, and it was indeed a very beautiful moment with all of them in the boat, right in the middle of the ocean and with the Lord of the Universe. And Swami in fact compared the boat and the ocean, and he said, see, the boat is afloat on top of the ocean, and if the water enters the boat, obviously the boat is going to sink. Similarly, man, if he allows the worldly desires to come into him, he will sink, and therefore he needs to be in the world but not into the world. So it was very, very beautiful, and he did conclude it by saying, see, there is no harm in living in this world and enjoying the creation of God as long as you know where you are, what you're supposed to do, and what your journey is. And that was the morning of June 19th, and in the evening we had a public satsang. And after the Stanford University in the Bay Area, it was time for the University of California, UCI, Irvine. And it was over 600 people had gathered at the UCI, and it was a very, very beautiful congregation. And there was a cultural program thereafter. And again, in one of the question and answers, and Swami in his very nonchalant way, he said something very, very profound. He said, a small boy once came and asked me what my biggest miracle is or was. And I told him that there are billions of people in this world, and my miracle is not that so many devotees have come to me, but my miracle is that so many devotees have not come to me. And that is the biggest miracle, because I wanted to give you all the opportunity to follow and to be and to go ahead with the teaching. So that was extremely profound, brothers and sisters. And he did say, he said that it is not that they are less deserving than all of you, but I chose who comes to me and who doesn't. And that has been my biggest miracle. And another question which was asked, which was again a very, very interesting question, was, Swami, why are souls created in the first place? And if we are indeed divine, why is there amnesia? So why do we forget? Yet again, this is a question which was asked in various satsangs, and Swami so beautifully explained it in various different means so that the audience was able to understand it. And he said, in fact, he quipped and he said, oh, so you're asking me what I did? You know, why I did it and why I created souls? And then Swami very beautifully went on to say, why are children born to parents? Children are born to parents so that parents can derive joy by seeing them. Parents can derive the love by seeing them. Similarly, God was in his complete nirakara svabhava, and for him to be able to enjoy, he created men, he created humans, that he can derive joy by seeing his children. So indeed it was a very, very beautiful evening. And again, yet again, it finished very late, and we went back to where we were staying and all set for the next morning. Day 11 was June 20th. And we went to the residence of Professor Venkateshan and his devout wife, Srimati Sarojini. And it was at Sai Ananda Nilayam, and all their family and close friends had gathered to welcome Swami. And Swami had lunch at their residence, and all the children sang, and he specifically wanted the children to sing, and in fact they had chanted the Sai Rudram. And that is when Swami said very beautifully, he said, see, the Rudram and the Chamakam asks God for worldly things, it asks for fame and name and progeny. He said Sai Rudram is the most beautiful chanting because it asks God for beauty, for truth, for goodness. And he urged the children to learn the meaning of Sai Rudram. And indeed it was a pleasure to hear these children chanting the Sai Rudram. And the evening of day 11, we had a small satsang at the place where we were staying, and it was a group of all the close devotees who were there along with Bhagwan's entourage. And I'm sure everybody would remember last year for the 90th birthday, Mr. Bob Bozani on Swami's command had distributed little pins called "It's All About Love," and all of us here had also received it. And similarly, this time when we were all there in the US, he had distributed caps which said "It's all about love." And Swami said something very profound at the satsang here. He said, Mr. Buzani gives pins which says it's all about love, and I see a lot of people wearing these little pins which says it's all about love. But love cannot be without service. So in true essence, it's all about service. Love and service has to go with one another. It has to be hand in hand. The next day was day 12, and we had a very long flight from Los Angeles to Dallas to Chihuahua in Mexico. Chihuahua is the capital, is the largest state in Mexico, and it is usually characterized by the rugged mountainous terrain. And as we landed in Chihuahua, we had the host, Mrs. Rosario Ordonez, and the entire Mexican group of devotees who had lovingly welcomed all of us. And we retired for the evening because it was very late. The next morning, some of the close devotees and the committee members of the foundation had gathered, and Swami spoke to all of them. And Bhagwan stayed at the residence of a lady by name Mrs. Erma and her children, and she is a widow. And when she came to serve lunch that afternoon, after the morning satsang got over, brothers and sisters, it was a very beautiful moment for all of us who witnessed when we were serving Swami his lunch. Swami said, your husband came. And Swami described her husband and said he was wearing a white shirt, he was wearing a black trouser, and that was his favorite combination of dress at all times he would wear. He had a double chin, he had a mustache, and Swami described him so beautifully, and he said, he came to take my blessings in the morning. And this lady started sobbing uncontrollably. And she kept saying, "Grazia, Swami, grazia, grazia, thank you." It means thank you. So she kept saying thank you in Spanish. And as we came out, this lady was indeed uncontrollable, because every single word that Swami had told her about her husband, he in fact described how they met before they got married, how she used to cook. Swami gave every single detail to this lady. And she told me later, she said, I had prayed that morning to Swami because I was feeling very bad that my husband is not there on this most beautiful day of our life, that the Lord is visiting our home. And I prayed very earnestly for him. And there you go. And he had come to take Swami's blessings. And then later, when we went back to clear Swami's plate, Swami asked me, he said, what is this? They keep saying grazia, grazia all the time. And Swami, in his very beautiful way, he said, what is grazia? So, I said, Swami, it means thank you in Italian and in Spanish. And then he said something very beautiful and very profound. He said, grazia is not thank you. It means your grace. Grazia is grace. So he said, like you say in Hindi, aapki kripa, me daya in Telugu, that is what it actually means, and that is the root of the word grazia. He said, over the years, people have forgotten, and it's become very colloquial, and it means thank you. That is the Lord for us, brothers and sisters. Every single moment, lessons learned. The next day, in fact, that evening, the 22nd evening, we had the public satsang in Chihuahua, and it was a 15-minute drive from the residence where Swami was staying. And what was very beautiful was it was like an amphitheater. And so the stage was down and all the seats were up. And it was a very unique sort of setting. And in fact, this was the first time in all these years where the translation was happening simultaneously, like how it happens at the UN, at the United Nations conference. It was happening exactly in real time, and it was very beautiful to see a very unique way of translation being done at the Satsang. Can we have the next slide, please? This is a very small video. Swami was welcomed in the typical Aboriginal style. And after the evening public satsang, we all returned to the residence of Mrs. Erma for the day. And the next morning, we flew from Chihuahua to Mexico City to Los Angeles to Santa Fe in Encinitas, back to the US. The next morning, which was June 24th, Swami commanded all of us to go on a short visit to the San Diego Zoo, which is the largest zoo, one of the largest zoos in the world, and he asked us to go on a caravan safari, and which we all went to see the animals, and he asked us to feed the giraffes, and it was indeed a very beautiful morning for all of us. And later that evening, we had the satsang back at the hotel where we were staying, and it was in fact the last satsang of the trip, and Swami said, my message across Canada, across Mexico, and across USA has just been the same. It has been that of practice, he said, of following my teachings. The next morning, on the 25th of June, was rest. Since we had all traveled a long distance, it was a morning of rest. And in the evening of June 25th was a short satsang by the beach. And there were a handful of devotees, about 15-20 devotees, and it was beautiful to see the Lord manifest there. And we had Brother Cass Smith, who's known for his song, I Keep Feeling Your Love in Me, render some beautiful songs at Bhagwan's lotus feet. And we have a very short clipping of a song which Swami very dearly liked. Can we have the video, please?
Baba, please. Oh, Baba, won't you give me a birdie ring? You can give me anything. Please sign a picture for me. Maybe some footbooty. Oh, Baba, please. But Baba said to me, you go back, Rowdy. Rowdy, 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 rowdy boy. So now I'm trying to make less noise. I'm even dressing and acting like a college boy. Oh, Baba, please. Oh, Baba, wanna be your honor man.
It was indeed an informal gathering with just a handful of 15-20 devotees, and after which we retired for the evening, and the next morning we took our flight on a long journey from Los Angeles to Toronto to Frankfurt and back to Bangalore after a beautiful, beautiful trip with the Lord. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Offering our loving pranams at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagavan, esteemed brothers and sisters, and Bhagavan's very dear and precious property, boys and girls. I am sure when Bhuvana was reporting to you the trip, all of you have gone round Canada, USA and Mexico. Yesterday morning, Swami had called a few of the administrative staff to Anandam. Swami said a very touching and a striking thing, which I just want to share with you. Swami said, at this point of time, you do not know the magnitude of grace and blessing bestowed upon you. You are preparing this ashram for the advent of another avatar, which is going to establish dharma, lead mankind back to peace, back to love, back to mutual caring and sharing. When Swami was saying this, I remember a great American thinker about 70 years before, Dr. Stephen Rupenthal. He said, which is very, very apt and relevant even today, in a world which is full of violence and despair, India stands for hope. In a world which is full of violence and despair, India stands for hope. The fertile spiritual soil of India will bring forth a great spiritual leader who would lead mankind back to love, back to peace, back to mutual caring and sharing. And that is how we are going to save this planet, he said. And I have no doubt left in my mind that he was referring to our dear Lord, Divine Master, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. You are all a part of this great preparation of the world for welcoming the next avatar in the Trinity, Shirdi Sai, Satya Sai and Prema Sai. It's a great blessing for us, the students, the teachers, the devotees assemble at a time when Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, in his very, very mysterious way, preparing this ashram, preparing the state of Karnataka, preparing India, and preparing the whole of the world by going around and sowing the seeds of love and divine wisdom so that the world becomes fit enough to receive the avatar of Prema Sai. Bhuvana has told you everything, but there is something very relevant for the students. Many of you might know, some of you may not know, that Harvard University in Boston and Stanford University in San Francisco are considered to be the most prestigious universities. When you go to Harvard University, you see in a very prominent place a very majestic idol of John Harvard, in whose name the university is named. Later on, I found out who was this John Harvard. He was a very humble preacher, a humble priest, a Christian priest. And today the whole world knows about Harvard because of the university. What did he do? What was the great thing he did that we remember his name, associate it with this great university which was founded in 1636, almost 400 years before, one of the oldest universities in the world today. What he did was, He was a Christian priest, a Roman Catholic priest, was a devoted bachelor, and when he died, he wrote a will. What was the will? He parted all that he had in his life, but it was not much. 700 books and $756. That is all he gave it to this university, which was nascent at that point of time, just about 20 years old. Can you imagine 700 books and $756 have made him immortal today? That is why Swami keeps on telling us, na karmana na prajaya tyage naike amrutatva manusyaho. He attained a kind of immortality that the world will remember him for his act of little sacrifice. You see his idol, the university is named after him. Another very important thing was, we lived in a very beautiful place in Boston, which is just 10 minutes away from another very renowned place called Walden, which was a kind of ashram created by another student of this Harvard University who inspired Mahatma Gandhiji to take to this civil disobedience movement. Henry David Thoreau was a student in the Harvard University. Harvard University at that point of time was already 200 years old when he was a student. And Harvard University, if you want to know its history, it has produced 6 presidents of America and about 121 Nobel laureates. 121 students of Harvard University have won Nobel Prizes in the fields of science, medicine, and literature. And 6 of the old students of this university have become presidents of America. And what this Henry David Thoreau said is very, very important. It is very relevant for you. What he said, one line of Bhagavad Gita is worth 1,000 times more than the whole state of Massachusetts, in which all these universities are there. He was a student of Harvard, but he said one line of Bhagavad Gita is much more than what is taught in this great university of Harvard. What does it mean? See, that is the kind of education which Baba is giving you today. It is not just the education in sciences or arts and humanities. It is the Atma Vidya, the spiritual education, which alone can release us from this bondage to flesh. And that is the glory of Indian culture. That is the glory of the teachings of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. And you're all very, very blessed that we sit here at the lotus feet of God and who speaks to us. All of us know that God pervades every atom of the universe. But at this point of time, He speaks only here. We are all very, very fortunate to listen to Him, listen to His divine wisdom, by practicing which we can find our redemption, our emancipation, and our liberation. With these words I conclude and pray to Bhagavan to grant us His divine message. Thank you.
Om Shri Sai Ram. As we pray to Bhagavan to grant his message, I perceive him seated here in a peach silk robe, and I repeat as he speaks. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet.
Let everyone be happy in this universe. Let everyone lead a life free from any kind of adversity or difficulty. let everyone see only auspiciousness and good things around them. Let nobody experience any kind of sorrow or grief.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులైన విద్యార్థులారా, అధ్యాపకులారా, భక్తులారా,
Embodiments of love, students, boys and girls, and teachers and devotees.
సమస్త లోక సుఖినో భవంతు అనేటటి మహత్మైన ఆదర్శాన్ని అందించే ఈ భరత భూమి యొక్క మహత్యం గురించి ఎంత వర్ణించినా తక్కువే.
We cannot even try to describe the glory of our motherland, which has set the great ideal and offered the great noble prayer that let everyone in every world be always happy.
వీళ్ళు మనవాళ్ళు, వాళ్ళు మనవాళ్ళు కాదు అనేటట్టి లఘుతనాన్ని విడిచి ఉదార చరిత్రతో వసుధైవ కుటుంబం అనేటది ఆదర్శాన్ని విశ్వముకు అందించిన ఈ భరతభూమిని జన్మించిన ఒక పరమ భాగ్యాన్ని వర్ణించడము అసాధ్యమే.
The glory of being born in the sacred motherland, which has taught an ideal which asks us to give up narrow-mindedness and develop broad-mindedness so that we can feel oneness with the whole world, one family. That is the ideal that our motherland has taught to the world.
భారత అనేటువంటి పదమందు చేరిన అంతరార్థం ఏమిటనగా భగవంతుడిలో రచించే వాళ్ళే భారతీయులు.
What is the inner meaning of the word Bharata? One who revels in the bliss of divinity, one who revels in the joy of God, he is a Bharata, or he is an Indian.
ఈ దేశంలో పుట్టిన మాత్రమే, ఈ దేశంలో పెరిగితే మాత్రమే, ఈ దేశంలో తిరిగితే మాత్రమే భారతీయులుగా అనిపించుకోవటము సత్యము కాదు.
It is not true if you call yourself an Indian just because you are born in this land, just because you breathe the air of this land, and just because you eat the food that comes out of this land.
కానీ ఈ భరత్ భూమి అందించే ఒక ఆదర్శాన్ని పాలించే వాళ్ళే నిజమైన భారతీయులు.
A true Bharatiya, a true Indian is one who practices and follows this great ideal which is set by Bharatiya culture, Indian culture.
సర్వే భవంతు సుఖినః, అందరి కూడా సుఖంగా ఉండాలి.
Everyone should be happy.
నేను మాత్రము, నా కుటుంబం మాత్రము, నా వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే సుఖంగా కాకుండా అందరి కూడా సుఖమైన, ఆనందమైన, ఆదర్శమైన జీవితాన్ని బ్రతకాలనే ప్రార్థనని అందించింది ఈ భారత భూమి.
This land of Bharat set this ideal. Not only me and my family, or not my people, it should be everybody, everywhere should be always happy.
సర్వే సంతు నిరామయ, అందరూ కూడా ఆరోగ్యంతో నిరామయముగా భద్రంగా క్షేమంగా ఉండాలని ప్రార్థించినారు భారతీయులు.
The Bharatiyas, the Indians always prayed that everybody should enjoy good health, free from any kind of ailment or grief.
ఏ దుఃఖానికి, ఏ కష్టానికి, నష్టానికి గురి కాకుండా ఆనందమయ, అందమయ జీవితాన్ని అందుకోవాలని ప్రార్థించినారు భారతీయులు.
The Bharatiyas, the Indians always prayed, let nobody experience any adversity in life, nobody experience any sorrow or grief.
ఇంత ఒక విశాలత్వము ఎవరి మనసులో ఉంటున్నదో వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే భారతీయులు అని మనం చెప్పవచ్చు.
We can call only those people as Bharatiyas or Indians who have this kind of broad-mindedness.
ఆహార నిద్ర భయమైతరం చ సామాన్యమేతద్ పశుభిర్నరాణాం.
Food, sleep, fear and procreation are common to both human beings and animals.
ధర్మో హి తేషామధికో విశేషః ధర్మో విహీనం పశుభిః సమానః.
Only dharma distinguishes human beings from animals. A human being who is bereft of dharma is worse than an animal.
నీటి యొక్క ధర్మము ప్రవహించటము, చల్లారించటము, అందరి ఒక దాహ తీర్చటమే.
The dharma or the nature of water is to flow and give coolness to all people around.
అగ్ని యొక్క ధర్మము వేడితనము,
The nature of fire is heat.
కాల్చటమే తన యొక్క ధర్మము.
Burning is its true dharma or nature.
గాలి యొక్క ధర్మము ప్రవహించటము, ఈ ప్రాణాయ వాయువును అందించి అందరి ఒక ప్రాణాన్ని పోషించటమే తన యొక్క ధర్మము.
The dharma or nature of wind is to always keep moving and also give this life breath to all the beings in the world.
కానీ నీరు చల్లదనం పోగొట్టుకుంటే, అగ్ని వేడిదనాన్ని పోగొట్టుకుంటే, గాలి ప్రవహించటం మానేస్తే అగ్ని, నీరు, గాలి అని చెప్పడానికి వీలు లేదు.
If water loses its nature of coolness, if fire loses its nature of burning and heat, and if wind stops blowing, you cannot call them anymore water or wind.
ఆ విధముగానే మానవుడు తన ఒక దివ్యమైన ఆత్మధర్మాన్ని పాలించకపోతే మానవుడిని చెప్పడానికి వీల్లేదు.
Similarly, a human being, if he does not follow the Atma Dharma, the nature of the divine, you cannot call him a human being.
భారతీయుల యొక్క ప్రపంచమైన ధర్మం ఏమిటనగా ఆత్మధర్మమే.
The first and foremost ideal, the dharma of Indians, is this Atma Dharma.
అందరిలో భగవంతుడు రచిస్తున్నాడు, అలలు ఉన్నాడు అనేది సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించి వర్తించడమే భారతీయ యొక్క జీవితము.
The teaching of Bharat, the nature of Bharatiyas is to recognize the presence of God in everyone and behave accordingly.
ఏకాత్మ సర్వభూత అంతరాత్మ.
There is only one Atma which pervades every creature.
కాబట్టి ఎవరిని మనము పూజించినా భగవంతుడినే పూజిస్తున్నాము.
Whomever you worship, you are worshipping God
ఎవరిని
only.
మనం నమస్కరించినా కేశవం ప్రతిగచ్చతి.
Whomever you salute, the salutation goes only to God.
ఆ విధముగానే ఎవరిని మనం తిరస్కరించినా ఆ తిరస్కారము కూడా కేశవం ప్రతిగచ్చతి.
Whomever you ridicule or criticize, even that also goes to God.
ఈ విధంగా అందరిలో భగవంతుడు అలరి ఉండాలనేటువంటి ఒక సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించినప్పుడే అందరి సుఖముగా, అందరి కూడా ఆనందంగా, అందరి కూడా ఆరోగ్యంతో క్షేమంగా ఉండాలని ప్రార్థించడము సంభవించింది.
Only when everyone recognizes that God is the resident in everyone else and understand this truth, then only you can have this prayer, let everybody be happy.
అద్దమితో కూడిన ఒక గదిలో కుక్క దూరితే తన యొక్క ప్రతిబింబాన్ని చూసి ఎన్నో కుక్కలు వచ్చినాయని భయపడి అరుస్తుంది.
If a dog enters a house which is full of mirrors, it sees many reflections of itself, but thinks that there are many dogs which have come. It is and starts barking.
కానీ అది ఒక డాగ్ స్వభావము. ఈ భిన్నత్వాన్ని చూసి భయపడుతున్నది.
It is the nature of the dog to look at the multiplicity and get frightened.
ప్రతి ఒక్క అద్దములో ప్రతిబింబము వేరే కుక్కదే అని అనుకొని భయపడి అరుస్తున్నది.
It looks at its own reflection in every mirror and thinks that it is another dog. Therefore, out of fear, it starts barking.
అది ఎంత అరుస్తుందో నాలుకను ఒక వేయితూరులో ఆ ప్రతిబింబంలో ఉండే కుక్కలు కూడా అరుస్తుంటాయి.
But what happens? The reflections also, they start barking with a kind of sound which is 1,000 times more than the original barking.
కానీ ఆ గది లోపలే ఒక మానవుడు చేరినప్పటికీ అన్ని గద్దెమందు తన ఒక ప్రతిబింబాన్ని చూసి చాలా ఆనందిస్తాడు.
But in the same house of mirrors, if a human being, if a man enters, he sees his own reflections and he enjoys looking at his own reflections. So many
ఇంత
of
ఒక
them.
భిన్నత్వంలో కూడా ఏకత్వాన్ని మనం చూడగలుగుతున్నాడు ఈ మానవుడు.
this man is able to recognize the unity in the multiple reflections.
రిఫ్లెక్షన్స్ అన్నీ కూడా నావే అనేది సత్యాన్ని ఆయన తెలుసుకోగలుగుతున్నాడు.
He is able to recognize the truth that all these are my reflections.
ఆ విధంగా అన్ని రిఫ్లెక్షన్స్ లోపల నేనే ఉన్నానని తెలుసుకున్నప్పుడు తను ఒక స్మైల్ చేసినప్పుడు 1000 తూర్ల స్మైల్స్ కూడా తిరిగి తనకు లభిస్తున్నాయి.
And you know that all are your own reflections. When you smile, you will get back 1000 smiles from your own reflections.
ఒకే గదిలో DOG డాగ్ చేరినప్పటికీ భిన్నత్వాన్ని చూసి భయపడుతున్నది.
In the same house, the dog enters looking at the multiple reflections, it starts barking.
కానీ విపరీతంగా మానవుడు అక్కడ చేరినప్పటికీ అందరి ఒక దాంట్లో నేనే ఉన్నాననే తత్వాన్ని గుర్తించి GOD గాడ్గా మారిపోతున్నాడు.
The dog, which is spelt as DOG, it sees multiplicity and gets frightened. Whereas man, when he enters there, he looks at his own reflections, he knows that all of them are his own reflections, and he behaves like God, GOD.
తత్తకోమోహ కశోక ఏకత్వం అను పశ్చతః.
For a person who looks at oneness of all creation, where is attachment, where is sorrow?
భారతీయులు అందరి కూడా మనవాళ్ళే, ఒకే భగవంతుడు ఒకే దివ్యతత్వం అందరిలో కూడా చేరి ఉన్నది అనే సత్యాన్ని ప్రబోధిస్తూ వచ్చారు.
Indians have always stood for and taught the truth that everybody in the world have only one principle, one God.
కానీ ఈనాటి విశ్వంలో భిన్నత్వం 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 వల్ల ఎన్నో ఒక యుద్ధములు, కష్టములు, నష్టములు జరుగుతున్నాయి.
But today, because they have forgotten this unity of all mankind, they see multiplicity, they see differences, which has led to many wars, battles, conflicts and strifes.
ధర్మ మతాలు, జాతి భేదాలు పెంచుకొని వీళ్ళు మనవాళ్ళు వాళ్ళు మనవాళ్ళు కాదు అనేటి లఘుత్వానికి వాళ్ళు గురి అయిపోతున్నారు.
Because of religious differences and because of caste differences, people think only these people belong to us, others don't belong to us.
కానీ భారతీయ యొక్క దృష్టిని చూసినప్పుడు అందరూ కూడా సమానమే, అందరూ కూడా దివ్యమయమే, అందరూ కూడా ఏకమే అనేటి సత్యాన్ని మనము తెలుపుతున్నాము.
But from the point of view of Indian culture, everyone is one and the same, all are one principle, one God, one divinity.
పాత్రములు మాత్రం వేరు కానీ పదార్థం ఒక్కటే.
Vessels may be many, but material is one and the same.
అందరి దేహమందు దేవాలయంగా మార్చుకొని భగవంతుడే అధిస్తున్నాడు అనేటటువంటి సత్యాన్ని భారతీయులు విశ్వంకు అందిస్తున్నారు.
Indians believe that all the bodies God himself has built as his temples and he resides there.
సత్యధర్మ ప్రేమ నిత్యమై ఉండిన భూమి తల్లి ఎంతో పులకరించు.
When the human beings, they behave according to the principles of truth, righteousness and love, this earth will be very, Mother Earth will be very happy.
విశ్వ శాంతినిచ్చు, వివిధ సౌఖ్యమునిచ్చు.
Mother Earth will bless peace in the world and great happiness to everybody in the world.
ఉన్నమాట తెలుపుచున్నమాట.
This is the word which reflects the truth.
అందరి మానవులు కూడా తను ఒక దివ్యమైన ఒక స్వభావాన్ని గుర్తించి తద్వారా దివ్యంగా ప్రవర్తించినప్పుడే, అందరి కూడా మనవాళ్ళగా భావించినప్పుడే ఈ విశ్వ శాంతి సాధ్యము, సంభవము.
Only when all human beings recognize their own divine nature, behave in a divine way and understand that everybody belongs to one family, only then there can be peace in the world.
ఒక రైలు బండి ముందర పోవాలంటే దానికి ఒక ఇంజిన్ అత్యవసరం.
For any train to move forward, engine is very important.
ఇంజిన్ నడిచినప్పుడే ఈ కంపార్ట్మెంట్స్ కూడా వెంటిపోతాయి.
When engine moves forward, the compartments will also move forward.
ఈ ప్రపంచమందు ప్రతి ఒక్క దేశము కూడా ఒక కంపార్ట్మెంట్ లాంటిదే, కానీ భారతమే దానికి ఒక ఇంజిన్.
The whole world Other countries are like compartments in a train, but India is like the engine.
ఈ సత్యధర్మ అనేటువంటి మార్గంలో ప్రవేశించి ఈ ప్రపంచాన్ని విశ్వాన్ని తీసుకుని పోయే ఒక బాధ్యత భారతీయులదే.
The responsibility of taking this train of the world on the rails of Satya and Dharma, truth and right conduct, is of the Indians.
కాబట్టి ఎందుకు స్వామి ఇట్లా విశ్వమంతా తిరుగుతున్నాడనగా ఈ సత్యాన్ని తెలిపించే నిమిత్తమై.
Why is Swami going around the whole world? The only objective is to announce this truth that the whole mankind is one family.
విశ్వశాంతి కావాలా విశ్వశాంతి కావాలా అందరూ అడుస్తున్నారే కానీ చేతిలో ఆటం బాంబ్ పెట్టుకొని పీస్ కావాలా అడిగినప్పుడు సాధ్యమా?
People are shouting, we want world peace, but they are holding atom bombs in their hands.
పీసెస్ వస్తున్నాయి కానీ పీస్ రావటం లేదే.
You will only get pieces and never peace.
ఎక్కడ చూసినా విశ్వమంతా కూడా పీసెస్ అయిపోతున్నది.
And today look around the world is getting divided into pieces and pieces everywhere.
ఈ దివ్యత్వాన్ని గుర్తించలేక వల్లనే ఈ విధముగా విశ్వములో శాంతి తరిగిపోతుంది.
The world peace is disappearing because we are not able to recognize our own divine nature and therefore the unity of all man.
స్వామి ఇలా దేశం తిరిగి ఉపన్యాసాల వరకు నీడ్చి ఈ యొక్క మార్గదర్శనం చేస్తూ వస్తున్నాడు.
In order to teach this truth of unity of mankind, Swami is going from country to country and teaching this eternal truth.
ఏ దేశంకి పోయినా భక్తులందరూ వచ్చి ఇంకా కొన్ని రోజులు ఇక్కడే ఉండాలి స్వామి అని ప్రార్థిస్తూనే ఉన్నారు, కానీ వదలటం లేదే.
Wherever I go, the devotees of that place come and pray to Swami, Swami please stay here for some more days. They don't want to part from Swami.
అమెరికా లోపల కూడా 2-3 స్టేట్స్ మనం పోయినప్పటికీ అన్ని స్టేట్స్ నుంచి జనాలు వచ్చి మన దారికి కూడా రావాలి, మీరు కనీసం నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్ మన దేశం మన స్టేట్లో కూడా మీరు రావాలని ఎన్నో ప్రార్థనలు చేస్తున్నారు.
Swami went to only 2 or 3 states in United States of America. But from other states, devotees came and prayed to Swami, at least next year, please come to our city, our town, our state.
వాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా స్వామి వాళ్ళతోనే ఉండిపోవాలనే వాళ్ళ ఒక ఆశ.
They also have a desire that Swami should always stay with them.
కానీ నా పిల్లలు ముద్దనహళ్లిలో ఉన్నారు, గుల్బర్గాలో ఉన్నారు, మండ్యాలో ఉన్నారు, ఇంతమంది పిల్లల్ని వదిలి బయట చాలాసేపు ఉండటం సాధ్యం కాదు అని అందరికీ చెప్పి నేను పునః వెనుక ముద్దనహళ్లికి వచ్చేసాను.
But I told everyone, my children are there in Muddenahalli, in Gulbarga, in Mandya, in Chikbalapur, saying that I have come back.
ఏ విధంగా పిల్లలు తల్లిని చూసి సంతోషిస్తారో ఆ విధంగా తల్లి కూడా పిల్లలతోనే ఆనందంగా ఉంటుంది.
In the same way, as children looking at their mother derive great joy, mother also will be very happy to be with her children.
నేను ముద్దనహళ్లి ఉండినప్పుడే హ్యాపీగా ఉంటాను.
I am happy when I am in Muddenahalli.
మీరందరి దగ్గర ఉండినప్పుడే నేను హ్యాపీగా ఉంటాను.
When I see all of you, I feel so happy.
కాబట్టి నేను వాళ్ళకి చెప్పాను, మీరు ఎంత ప్రార్థించినా సరే కానీ నేను నా పిల్లల్ని వదిలి నేను ఇన్ని రోజులు ఇక్కడ ఉండలేను, నేను వెనక పోవలసిందే.
Therefore, I told them, however much you may pray, I cannot live away from my children. I have to go back. This is what I told them.
కానీ పిల్లలందరూ కూడా మంచి పిల్లలే.
All children are good children.
ఒక కుటుంబం లోపల ఇద్దరు పిల్లలు ఉండిన తల్లిదండ్రులు ఇటువంటి చూసినప్పటికీ ఏదో ఒక ప్రమాదం జరుగుతుంది.
In a family, if there are only 2 or 3 children, you look into the secret of the family, you find there are some defects
తల్లి
and
ఒక గమనము
shortcomings.
అటుపక్క పోయినప్పటికీ ఈ పిల్లలు ఏదో ఒక పరిపాటు చేసి పెడతారు.
When mother moves away from home, the children create some mischief.
కానీ ఇన్ని రోజులు మనం బయట ఉండినా కానీ పిల్లలందరూ కూడా భద్రంగా డిసిప్లిన్తో అందరూ ఒక శ్రద్ధతో వాళ్ళ చదువులు చదువుతూ మంచిగా ప్రవర్తిస్తూ ఉన్నారని నా ఒక నమ్మకము.
My belief and my faith is that even when I am away from this country, all my children here behave themselves well, they study well and conduct themselves with discipline and faith.
ఎవరికి ఏమి తొందర పెట్టరు అని తెలిసినప్పుడే నేను మిమ్మల్ని వదిలి వేరే దేశంకి పోగలుగుతున్నాను.
If or trouble for anybody, that is why I am able to leave you here and go to other countries.
ఇంత ఒక మంచి సెల్ఫ్ డిసిప్లిన్, సోర్స్ నుంచి వచ్చే డిసిప్లిన్తో ఉన్నారు మన పిల్లలు.
Our children conduct themselves with discipline which comes from source.
ఫోర్స్ నుంచి వచ్చే డిసిప్లిన్ ఫోర్స్ ఉండిన వరకు ఉంటుంది, తర్వాత పోతుంది.
But the discipline that comes because of force will be there only as long as force is applied.
పోలీస్ వాళ్ళు ఉండినప్పటి వరకు ఒక దొంగ కూడా ఏదో సాధువుగా ప్రవర్తిస్తుంటాడు.
In the presence of policemen, even a thief behaves like a saint.
పోలీస్ వాళ్ళు అటు తిరిగినప్పటికీ దొంగతనాలు ప్రారంభిస్తాడు.
Once the police people move away, he starts stealing.
కానీ అవంతా ఫోర్స్ ఫోర్స్ ఫోర్స్.
That is all morality by force.
కానీ మన పిల్లలదంతా సోర్స్ నుంచి వస్తున్నది.
But for our children, the morality and discipline come from source.
స్వామికి మనం సంతోషపరచాలా, స్వామికి మనం ఆనందం కలిగించాలా, స్వామికి మనం హ్యాపీగా చూసుకోవాలా అనేటువంటి ఒక భావం వల్ల సర్వకర్మ భగవత ప్రీత్యార్థం అన్ని స్వామికి ప్రీత్యార్థం చేసుకోవాలని వాళ్ళు బద్ధంగా క్షేమంగా డిసిప్లిన్గా ఉంటున్నారు.
Our children always think that we should make Swami happy. We should give him joy with our discipline and good conduct, and therefore they always have good conduct and good behavior.
కాబట్టి నేను ప్రపంచం అంతా తిరుగుతున్నప్పుడు ఇదే చెప్తున్నాను, మన పిల్లలు బంగారు పిల్లలు. నేను ఉండినా ఉండకపోయినా వాళ్ళు మాత్రం వాళ్ళ చదువులు చదువుతూ మంచి క్రమశిక్షణతో శ్రద్ధతో వాళ్ళ పనులు వాళ్ళు చేస్తూ ఉంటున్నారు. ఆ ఒక నమ్మకం ఉండేది కాబట్టి నేను వాళ్ళని వదిలి ఇన్ని రోజులు బయట ఉండగలుగుతున్నాను.
When I go around the world, I tell all people, I am able to be away from my children because I know and I believe that my children have this kind of self-discipline, and from the source they conduct themselves well all the time.
ఇంత సమయం లోపల మన అమ్మ ఈ అమెరికా ట్రిప్ గురించి చెప్పింది.
Bhuvana took so much time to describe our American trip.
అంతటి టైంలో ఇంకొక అమెరికా ట్రిప్ పోయి రావచ్చు మనం.
In the time that she took, we could have gone round America once more.
సంక్షిప్తం సూక్ష్మంగా చెప్పాలని చెప్పాను.
I told her that it should be very brief.
వాళ్ళకి ఏమి జరిగిందో వాళ్ళకి కూడా ఒక ఉత్సాహము కుతూహలం ఉంటుంది, అందుకే పిల్లలకి మనం తెలిపించాలా.
We have to inform our children because they have the enthusiasm to know what all happened outside when Swami went round the world.
అంతేగాని వాళ్ళు కూడా ఒక వరల్డ్ రౌండ్ తీసుకుపోయే అవసరం లేదు.
There is no need for her to take all the children round the world.
కానీ తన ఉత్సాహం వల్ల చెప్పింది.
Because of her enthusiasm, she told you all this.
మీకు నచ్చిందా?
Did you like that report?
జరుగుతుంది, ఎలా జరుగుతుంది అంతా మీరు కూడా తెలుసుకోవాలా.
All of you should come to know how things are happening outside and how Swami is spreading the message.
మీరు కూడా పెరిగిన తర్వాత వివేకానందులాగా విశ్వమంతా తిరిగి ఈ భారతీయ యొక్క సంస్కృతి, భారతీయ యొక్క సభ్యత, భారతీయ యొక్క ఆదర్శాన్ని గురించి చాటుతూ రావాలా.
Even all of you, when you grow up, you should become like Vivekanandas, go around the world, teaching the world about the ideals and the culture of India.
ఒకరు నేను పోతే ఇంత చేయగలుగుతున్నాను, ఇంకా మీ 1000 మంది మీరు పోతే ఎంత చేయగలుగుతారు?
Alone I am able to achieve so much. When 1000 of you go outside, you will be able to achieve much more.
ఒక వివేకానందుడు ఒకసారి అమెరికాకి పోతే ఎన్నో మార్పులు జరిగినాయి.
One Vivekananda went to America once and there was so much of change.
మీరు 1000 మంది వివేకానందులు పోతే ఈ ప్రపంచమే మారిపోతుంది.
If 1000 Vivekanandas go and teach, the whole world will be transformed.
వివేకం ఉంటే ఆనందం ఉంటుంది, అందుకనే వివేకానందం.
What do you mean by Vivekananda? When you have Viveka, you will have Ananda. When you have discrimination, you will have joy.
ఏది సత్యము, ఏది అసత్యము, ఏది నిత్యము, ఏది అనిత్యము, ఏది దివ్యము, ఏది కాదు అనేటువంటి సత్యాన్ని మనం వివేకంతో గుర్తించినప్పుడే, తద్వారా ప్రవర్తించినప్పుడే ఆనందం మనకు లభిస్తుంది.
When you recognize with discrimination or Viveka what is permanent, what is impermanent, what is divine, what is not divine, then the whole world will be happy.
మీరందరూ కూడా ఇట్లా వివేకముతో ఆచరిస్తూ ఆనందాన్ని అందరినీ పరుస్తూ వస్తారనేది నా ఒక ఆశ.
It is my desire that you will conduct yourselves with this kind of discrimination and share the divine joy everywhere.
ఈనాడు దినం చాలా సమయం అప్పుడే అయిపోయింది. మరో దినము అక్కడ జరిగిన ప్రసంగాలని మీకు నేను చెప్తాను.
Already it is very late, and another day let me tell you about all things that happened outside.
మంచిది, భజన వినా.
हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, साईं भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, प्रेम भक्ति बिना उद्धार नहीं, भक्ति बिना उद्धार नहीं, भक्ति बिना उद्धार नहीं, जन सेव बिना निर्वाण, सेव बिना जन सेव बिना निर्वाण नहीं, जन सेव बिना भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, जप ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान 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 नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, साईनाथ बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साईनाथ बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साईनाथ बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साईनाथ बिना परमात्मा नहीं, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, प्रेम भक्ति बिना उद्धार नहीं, भक्ति बिना ध्यान बिना संयोग नहीं, प्रभु दर्श बिना प्रज्ञान नहीं, दया धर्म बिना सत्कर्म नहीं, भगवान बिना कोई अपना नहीं, साईनाथ बिना परमात्मा नहीं, साईनाथ बिना परमात्मा नहीं, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं, हरि नाम बिना आनंद नहीं, साई भजन बिना सुख शांति नहीं। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, भक्त जना संरक्षक, भक्त जना संरक्षक, पति महेश्वरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, शशिवदना श्रीकरा, सर्वा प्राणपते, स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आश्रित कल्पलतिका, आपद्बांधवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, माता पिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे, स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे, नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा, नागेन्द्राशयना। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी ओ साई महादेवा, सत्य साई महादेवा, मंगल आरती अंदुको, मंगल आरती अंदुको, मंदर गिरिधारी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम, नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम, सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम। जय सद्गुरुदेवा। शांति शांति। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्तिः 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।